Greetings, this is Reflection of Man Digest magazine. Today we're going to talk about culture. We are going to introduce culture as a subject to you. Culture in the way perhaps you never come across it. Culture, maybe everybody have culture, you have one culture or the other. But beyond that, have you just asked yourself or try to query this culture of a thing? What is this culture about? Yeah, I inherited it from my father and whatnot. Well, if you like to know, culture is just the record of activities of our forefathers. Their life struggles, how much they have done in terms of innovation, what they care for so much, the kind of food they eat, how they were able to challenge the adverse effect of weather. Perhaps there is no nice building as we have it today. Their efforts to survive. That is all what constitutes culture of any race. So culture is not something that fell from above or something that I just dreamt of it or something, just something we are doing. And if you like, today we are still living the culture of tomorrow, because what we do today is going to be passed on. And that's why we must be very careful and see the culture, that culture we're talking about. Culture is not as divine as we think it is. And that is why it's important to question or to have, because the evolution of man's mind has gone up. What we know in 19th century is different from what we know today. And that is all about improvements on the thinking pattern of man, or how much aware of himself man has become. In any case, in earliest history, there are this idea of self-consciousness, people living with experience, people creating things, bringing innovation from their own internal experience. I guess at that time there's very less book, very less internet, Google to look at, find information and so on. All this culminated, and good, they culminated into our culture, but the good one of it is the good culture, and the bad of it is the bad culture. So I cannot just embrace whatever I see. I say it's my culture. No. Any culture is anti-human. It's not a culture. Of course, if it is one, it is a progressive one. An anti-human culture. A culture that encourages you to infringe on one another's rights, or intimidate people, or discriminate against people, or hold unnecessary grudge against people. It's not a culture to be adhered to. Such culture is culture that we will use our present master of mind to correct. And since we understand what culture is all about, we can now help to contribute into that culture, consciously creating tomorrow's culture. We can do that. And what is that culture? To introduce peace, to know how to live with one another with equity and fairness. It's a culture. The same as those people who slaughter people, who were doing all kind of primitive things, like fetish things and all the rest of them. It's culture. It's man's activity. Culture is just the footprint of humans on our planet. The proof of our existence here. So whatever you do now, you are creating a culture as a group and as an individual. In a community where they decide, okay, today each one of us is going to wear leaves in our heads, and they wear leaves. We are happy of it. Be happy. Next time, it's a thing to what I refer to. And if it continues, in the next couple of years, it will become the culture of those people. So, I'm going to leave here and continue in the next part. But the parting word is, culture is not that of a celestial thing. But you can say that a celestial person creating a culture is stepping down, is also a celestial activity. And such culture can be viewed a little bit heavenly. But if another person who is wrong-minded creates a culture, it becomes a wrong culture, anti-human, and negative. So, do decide to create a culture that is positive. Thank you so much, and bless you.